And so with your four pillars, is it correct that a brand may work with one or two or all four of your pillars, but it's not necessary from the get-go that all four pillars are in place? Is that right?
Yeah, if you think of it like this, really the one that is separated out is the build 'em
Yeah.
component. So there's brands that we do not sell for that we help open. And then on the franchise sales arm or the grow 'em arm, really the brand 'em piece and the scale 'em piece come with it. For us to feel confident in helping brands grow the right way and making sure that they're supported, we don't want the franchisor guessing at how to handle, growth, right? It should be a very well-oiled system so that when people buy in, they know what they should expect and they get that, on the backside. And so in order to sell franchise the right way, we feel like those components have to be there. It has to be a really well designed system and they have to have really good content, and that's why it's all in-house for us. In order to have that connectivity between the marketing team on what they put together, what the sales team sells, and then the operations component comes in
Right.
on the backside and really behind the scenes, the franchisee really doesn't see that. The franchisor is the one that's getting the support to then help the franchisee there. And so that's a really important piece to have all connected so that, from the first piece of material they see to, years deep into their experience as a franchisee, it's all been, developed as one.
Which is super helpful for an emerging brand or a brand that isn't even, as you said, a franchise yet. Um, my husband does a lot of angel investing and his office is downstairs. He'll come up and say, does this look like a franchise to you? And so it's great for me to be able to hand off those concepts. I usually call Trent at Franchise Corporate and let him figure out who should get that referral, what type of business it is. But for me to be able to say to my husband and other people who are looking at these opportunities every day, yeah, I can be a funnel to send those companies confidently to you so that they make fewer mistakes and launch more rapidly, as you said, much more confidently as well, so that those first in franchisees can get over the pioneering, cutting
Yeah.
edge fear concern. I think that's a whole different breed of person who's an early adopter. But to your point, they need to have that confidence that the brand really knows who they are and what they do.
Yeah, it's super important. The other thing it does, Meg, is a lot of brands, that launch or maybe have some scale, they feel like they have to hire a lot of people out of the get-go
Yeah, yeah.
to be in-house, right? And there's a huge expense with that. And so Rep'em helps bridge some of that. Of course, they're going to have their own in-house folks eventually. But they don't need C-suite right away. They don't need a franchise sales arm right away. They don't need a marketing person. They don't need someone running their construction and project management. We shoulder all that expense. So actually, as an FSO, we're not as profitable probably as some of the other ones because we deploy all these tools and assets towards the brands, but they get the benefit, which allows the brands to focus really where they should, which is on the system and the processes for the franchisee to get better and elevate their same store sales, and so that just breeds success. And back to your original point, like private equity, do you guys sometimes get involved? It all ties back to, hey, the better the franchisees do post us selling a franchise, the better we all do, right? And so we see it as a good solid investment in that manner.
Totally necessary. Nick, were you going to chime in on a point there?
No, I just think what Rob said is accurate. Like when you really look at the success of franchisees, nothing else matters really. I mean, you can have all of the right people involved. I always look at like you can hire the best leadership team in the world and have the best private equity group in your eyes that is the best partner. Have all of the money in the world at your fingertips to go invest into infrastructure, technology, whatever a franchisor thinks they need. But if the people on Main Street, the franchisees, are not seeing dollars to their bottom line and making money, everything else doesn't matter. It all goes
Yeah.
by the wayside. And so I think that a lot of franchisors miss the mark on that sometimes because they're focusing on things arguably that are very important. But really reality is what I've always seen is a lot of the best brands focus on one thing and one thing only really early, and it's sales. Like, Mark Cuban said it best, without a sale, you don't have a business, right?
Yeah.
And so with that said, let's drive as much sales as you can. Everything else will follow, right? Operational support, tech, you'll have the infrastructure to be able to build because you'll have the money to do it, right? And I think that's got to be the number one focus out of the gate. Obviously, you have to have a great market and a great product and all of those things. But, I think you really got to focus in on that to make sure franchisees are driving enough money in their doors early on so they're not burning through cash and they run out of cash. Let's be honest, that can happen if you don't be careful.